With the best shoes of 2025 recapped, and if you missed the video, it's linked right over here. I thought I'd spend some time today and go over my most anticipated shoes of 2026. Now, most of these shoes that I'm going to talk about are kind of just updates to the shoe that I already have owned, but it would be interesting to see if they do change some of the issues I have with those shoes and see what new stuff they can bring to it. Also, I want to mention that in last year, there was a shoe that kind of surprised me and came out of nowhere. Actually, there were two shoes, the Salomon Aeroglide 3, but the most important one was probably the Vomero Plus, Nike Vomero Plus. That shoe kind of came out of nowhere for me just because I don't necessarily run in Nikes and that shoe works so well. So I'm hoping to find my next Vomero Plus, if you will, this year and see which new shoes can surprise me. Let me know in the comments below which shoes you're most looking forward to. Let's get into the video. And before we get into the unreleased shoes, I thought I'd spend some time and go over the shoes that have already released that I'm already looking forward to. As we know, we're already into February, so a month has already passed in 2026. And there were two shoes that came out last month or a couple months ago that I'm actually very interested in looking at. First one is a shoe that many of you recommended, that once I made my Super Blast 2 videos, a lot of you said try this shoe instead. I did try it. I didn't cover it on my channel, but I did try the shoe. It was just a little too narrow for me, so it didn't really quite work out. However, I heard the new version is a little bit more wider, so that's very exciting. And that shoe is the Puma Mag Max 2. As I mentioned before, it has a wider fit overall, I believe. It also has the same great foam that the first one had. It would be interesting to see if the Mag Max 2 can replace the Vomero Plus. I still love the shoe. I don't know if it will, but it'll be interesting to test it out and see if it does stack up to it. But that is a very interesting shoe. Another shoe that just released maybe a couple weeks ago, honestly, as I'm recording this video, and it's getting a lot of hype, and it's considered the Evo SL killer, if you will, because of the price point, the lightweight, and a little bit more stability. With this shoe company, I haven't had the best results as well because I've tried their other versions and it's always so narrow. I find their foam to be a little bit more on the firmer side, which I don't like that ground feel when I run in shoes. But I think this shoe is supposed to solve some of that. So let's see if that is the case. And the shoe I'm talking about is the Saucony Endorphin Azura. Now, the Azura is supposed to be like the Endorphin Speed 5 without the plate and a thicker slab of the Power One PB, so it gives you that much more stability, that cushion foam. It's also in a lightweight package, and it also can do speed sessions as well pretty well. So I would love to test that out, and $150, it's a pretty good price point as well for a daily trainer. So I want to test that shoe out and see if that really can stack up to the Evo SL, which I had the biggest issue in that shoe was the instability because of the narrow heel. I love that shoe overall. I love the foam, but the instability kind of ruined it. I couldn't run for it for too long without my ankles starting to give out and whatnot. So it's great for speedier sessions, but I just can't do long runs or my 7-8 miles on that. I can get about 4 miles into the Evo SL and I gotta call it a day. Okay, let's go over the shoes that are gonna be releasing pretty soon that I'm most hype about. I'm gonna rank these based on least hype. I mean, I'm still hype, but least hype to the most hype. I will also mention here, these are all rumors. Nothing is for sure confirmed. As far as any of the brands saying anything, it's all rumors from people testing it out and whatnot. So take that with a grain of salt. But the first shoe that I'm most excited for is gonna be the replacement for the Adidas Evo SL, the SL2, if you will. If you saw my recap of 2025, you know the Evo SL was one of my top 3 shoes of 2025, mainly because it has such a lightweight package and it's great for the speedier sessions. And as I mentioned before, the issue I have with the shoe is the instability because of the narrow heel, as well as just this tongue just moves around so much when you run in them after a while. So I'm hoping the Evo SL2 can fix the instability, maybe have a wider area in the bottom. Who knows? I know Adidas is not really known for that kind of stuff, but we'll see if they can add that in and also maybe fix the tongue. I know the Evo SL Woven was released about a month ago as well. I don't think that fixed any of the issues that I had with this specific shoe. That I know it's supposed to improve the upper, provide a much better. I think the upper in this one was fine. It's just the tongue was the issue, and again the instability on the bottom. But I thought the upper was good for me. So never had any issues. I think the Evo SL Woven is my answer. But hopefully the Evo SL2 is going to be the one that replaces it. And it's supposed to be coming out in July of 2026. But a PSA to Adidas. Please, for the love of God, do not do the limited release that you guys did with the Evo SL. I know they tried to make this a lifestyle shoe first, but it was such an amazing running shoe that people just wanted to use them for running, honestly. So a lot of runners couldn't get their hands on it because everybody was hyped and they were using it for daily, wear. And so I hope that they don't do that whole limited release it in September, then back in November, all that kind of stuff that they did. That was just ridiculous. This is for the runners. Keep it for the runners. I mean, obviously, it's still a great shoe. It looks beautiful. I walk around with it casually as well. But this is also a really good running shoe. And don't take that away from runners. So please, Adidas, if you can, try not to do that. Thanks. Before we get into the second shoe, I do want to put my disclaimer here. I am not paid by any company to talk about their products. I don't have that kind of clout in the game. I'm just a running enthusiast that just loves running shoes. With that in mind, my second most anticipated shoe of 2026 is going to be the replacement for my best daily trainer of 2025. That's going to be the Nova Blast 6, the Asics Nova Blast 6. As you guys know, I absolutely love the Nova Blast 5. I think this was a much better upgrade than the Nova Blast 4 was. That was much more firmer. This was my daily best daily trainer of 2024 and 2025. Absolutely love this shoe. But the main issue with this shoe was that new foam, the FF Blast Max, kind of gives out after the first couple 100 miles. It loses that bounce, and it just kind of became a easy cushion shoe for me, honestly. My daily trainer became a Mega Blast essentially late 2025 after it lost the bounce. But I still love the shoe. I think the upper is great. I thought while it still lasted, the foam was excellent. It was nice and compressive, but also had a great bounce. However, the rumor for Nova Blast 6 is that it's supposed to have the same foam as this shoe, the Mega Blast, the FF Turbo Squared, which I absolutely love that idea. This foam is the main reason why I run in these shoes every single day. So imagine having the foam of this with the upper of this. It's like a perfect match in heaven. And obviously I think it'll be a little bit heavier because of the foam in this is much more. So I think it'd be a heavier daily trainer, which is fine, honestly. I don't mind that at all, as long as it has that nice bouncy FF Turbo Squared. But there was one rumor that really kind of made me go, I hope not. And that is that they're saying that the FF Turbo Square will only be in this little pod area where your forefoot or your midfoot lands to provide that balance. Everything else will still be the FF Blast Max. Now, I hope that's not the case, but it could be. And maybe they do an update to the FF Blast Max to make it last longer. Here's hoping. However, if it's gonna be the same kind of exact foam as this, plus that bounce, still be kind of interesting, but I'd be a little bit more disappointed. That's why I have it at number 2, just because I'm interested to see what the actual final specs come out. But nonetheless, I'm so excited. I think it'll be interesting to see an update to this shoe. It's been a while, so definitely excited for that as well. And the last shoe that I'm most anticipating, and it's supposed to come out in about a month from now in March of 2026, and that is the Asics Super Blast 3s, the replacement to Super Blast 2s. Now, I think Asics is at a weird point because when they released the Mega Blast, I think some people like myself kind of forgot the Super Blast because this shoe can just do it all, right? It can do the faster stuff, can do the daily training, is cushioned enough for the easy runs, and it's great for a long run because it can pick up the pace, all that kind of stuff. So many people kind of forgot this shoe, and it's also lighter, the Mega Blast is, right, compared to this shoe. But I think what Asics is going to do really well, and hopefully they execute it perfectly, is that they're going to make this into purely a long run up-tempo trainer versus a do-it-all shoe that this shoe was originally supposed to be for, right? I think the Super Blast 3s are supposed to be exclusively for your marathon paces, long runs, easy runs, all that kind of stuff, but not maybe the speedier stuff. We'll see. Again, we'll see how they execute it. They're rumored to have the FF Leap, which is their race foam found in their race day shoes like the Edge and Sky Tokyos. And those are supposed to be extra bouncy, extra compressive shoes that are great for marathons. And I think they'll probably do what they did with this shoe, which is, well, they have the race foam on top underneath the foot and then a firmer foam below to provide that stability and the extra bounce. The only thing that I am not excited about for Super Blast 3s is this colorways that they're showing. Again, I hope these are not final, because if they are, they look like somebody put permanent marker on them and ran them through a car wash. Like, what were they thinking? The only shoe that I think I can even consider running in with that whole lineup that they've shown is the white one, but that's even a maybe, honestly. But again, fingers crossed, maybe that's just a prototype that they have. They didn't want to show the final stuff, who knows. But I am very, very excited for Super Blast 3s. All right, well, there you guys have it, my most anticipated shoes of 2026. I've been gathering a lot of your suggestions on the comments last few videos. There are a lot of shoes I want to try, and hopefully they go on sale. I've heard a lot of things about the shoes from China that I need to try out as well, because they have also been really, really high praise, as not only on YouTube, but also some of the reviewers. I'll definitely try those out as well. But let me know in the comments below which shoes you're most looking forward to this year, and which shoe you think I should also prioritize, because again, I am always down to buy shoes. Just my wallet will hate me. Nonetheless, thank you guys so much for watching as always. I'll see you guys next time.